college. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Back goes Mahomes. He's rushing. He's looking. It's intercepted. It's intercepted. Running with the football to the 25. Down the far side is Eugene. And Eugene is in for a touchdown.
Threw 2 interceptions in their end. I mean, I threw a pick 6 and I threw a pick that they returned to the 5-yard line and they scored immediately after. So when you give a team 14 points, especially a really good football team, a Super Bowl football team, then not a lot of good things happen.
Vic does a nice job with that defense. They played well. They got good players.
This is an offensive line that got exposed today. Patrick didn't have any help out there. I mean, the running backs had a combined 7 carries for 24 yards. Right there. Xavier Worthy came on at the end, but obviously a lot of that was kind of garbage time.
The 2025 winter homecoming king is Isaiah Reed. The 2025 winter homecoming queen is L.N. Reed.
Yeah, I think we played good all around. Scoring was pretty balanced. I think looking down, we got 4 guys in double figures, and every time we have that, it's going to be a good night. And if we don't come out on top, it means something bad had to happen.
Center of the floor, Hawkins for 3 straight on. Swish! Coleman Hawkins, he's got 9 and another 3. That's 7 for the Cats. They lead at 55-43.
I felt we were a tournament team when we put the team together. I felt even when we, lost a player that we'd still be a tournament team.
That's a good team, and they shoot it well and they score it well. And second half, I didn't think we really came out to play. I thought first half was pretty darn good. We had some stretches in there where we started to pull away. I think we went up 10 again.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome into Massacre Monday. Some people call it Overreaction Monday. I'm going to go Massacre Monday today. Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson in studio, and Landon Winkler is running the studio controls for live stream and everything else. He is our executive producer on the program. On the Monday show, I guess we'll talk about the Super Bowl. Great Bend Tribune sports editor Jim Mazunas will be in. We'll talk Barton wrestling with Nathan Brockelman, and Barton women's basketball coach Alan Clark will be in on the show today. We'll have weekend sports headlines and, of course, the sounds of the weekend. The biggest story, though, coming out of this Super Bowl yesterday, were you taken aback when Taylor Swift was booed at the Superdome?
We all know how Philly fans are not to be trusted. No taste.
How was she just sitting in the stands? Wasn't she in a skybox? Or
you think she could afford it? She couldn't even afford those Super Bowl prices.
I was shocked. She was out amongst the fans.
What was it, the Haim bro? I don't even know who the Haims are. How'd they get in her clique?
I don't know.
But that shows you the difference between maybe CBS coverage where they'll cut to her. Of course, when the Chiefs win and Kelsey does things in a game, they might cut to her more. But President Trump there, I think only one cutaway at the beginning. I only saw Taylor at the beginning. Occasionally they'd show like the likes of Kevin Hart and some other celebrities. But
what do you think of the Fox coverage?
I was not a Tom Brady fan as a player, but I actually thought he was pretty solid.
He's got better.
He did what I said.
He's got better. I mean,
earlier in the game, he said, what is that? That's 350-pound guys times 5. I'm not a math major. What is that, 1750? On the fly, calling the Super Bowl, he did actual math, and it took me about 1.8 seconds and I wasn't calling the Super Bowl. So now I was like, okay, this guy's good.
Okay, let's get to the sounds. Yeah, it wasn't a good day, and it wasn't even close. It was a day that you think that you have to spend with family, and know that some of these things that you've been wearing now for the last 3 years can be put to bed. So young Clara, who's like 4 now, has been wearing a Chiefs cheerleading outfit. Well, it was a dress before. Now it's just something that comes around her waist. But she was forced to wear that thing. I can put together the Andy Reid windbreaker that I wore. Some other things can go back in the closet and never be worn again.
When I was umpiring little kids baseball, this was at the height 2014-15, the Royals were big. These kids grew up thinking the Royals are awesome every year.
Yeah.
There's a generation of Chiefs fans that hadn't seen the losing, and even us, we're grizzled old veterans. You win 2 Super Bowls in a row, you forget what it's like for when your team loses the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm sitting there, it's the pick six was bad, but it was 17-0. Well, we've seen them pull things out of the hat before. Okay, they've got the ball to start the second half, right? They can go down and get a score here, then come out, score on their first possession, and then it's 17-14. This is the real do. But then the other interception came, and then it was 24-0, and then
Let's say, at what point do you, given Patrick's ability to come back, given that we have seen massive comebacks in the Super Bowl, what was the final brick? Was it 17 or 24? You still have hope in halftime.
I still had hope at halftime because they got the ball. They were going to get the ball first, right? But you've got to go down and score right away.
Yep.
Yeah. So after that happened, I pretty much checked it in at that point.
Some point you have to realize they're not getting any yards and they're down 24, so it's not just can they score 24. That's a no.
Yeah, there's used to be this rancher down by Belvedere, Kansas. He'd always come up, and he'd analyze. That was a good old country butt whooping. Yeah, I would go with that.
So I was thinking about this earlier. You're getting beat. You can't do anything at that level with those players. I expect some level of adjustment. Were there adjustments being made, and maybe I'm not real keen on my X and O's and I didn't see it, or was no way Philadelphia was just that much better?
They were.
Buffalo. You can tell me Buffalo wasn't a high caliber team?
You look at the Eagles, they just stomped right through the playoffs. You just think, well, okay. I think I told you Friday that I feared a blowout, but I always fear a blowout, so I can't claim that. You just see it coming. Okay, the call on WIP, Cooper DeJean intercepts Patrick Mahomes. That returned it for a touchdown. That made it 17-0. Mahomes had one of his worst games, talking about the 2 picks, the pick 6, and then he's also sacked 6 times by the Philadelphia defense. Former Chief quarterback Alex Smith now works for ESPN, saying they need to get some help. But we saw this against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We just think, okay, we can patch this together. But, man, when you've got 4 monsters on the defensive line that you don't have to blitz.
Yeah.
So you don't have to blitz. So now you can still double cover. You can take Kelsey out of the game. You can put, safety over the top. There's a lot of different things you can do when you can have 7 guys in coverage instead of maybe take 2 out because you're trying to blitz.
You say maybe throw more screens. Well, they never blitzed. It was just straight up getting beat man to man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the worst for guys like Worthy, who doesn't have a Super Bowl ring yet. You know who shows up at the Super Bowl with more rings than him? Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend. She's got her one.
So, at least the Chiefs didn't just chuck it in. I thought they were worthy losers yesterday. They kept trying. The defense played hard the entire way. I thought that the defensive game plan was good. If you're going to say, okay, I don't want Barkley just to – they took him out of the game, which I didn't think they could do. I mean, he had just a little bit over 50 yards rushing. And you put it on Jalen Hurts. Man, that kid, you look at what he's gone through in his career. Basically, Tua Tagovailoa comes in and he loses his starting job at Alabama and doesn't say anything, stays, a good teammate, a good team member, and then Tua gets hurt in the national championship game or the SEC championship games. I can't remember which one. And he comes in and leads them to a victory. Then he transfers to Oklahoma, doesn't say anything, about Alabama or leaving. He goes there and he has a great season. I like Jalen Hurts. I didn't like him yesterday, but he was really, really good.
And going into the game, some of the talk was, who's going to be the biggest loser here? Well, if Jalen Hurts kind of on the hot seat, if he blows it, he's going to be proven to be a legitimate quarterback. Oh, look who got the MVP.
And all these talking heads, they're always talking about, man, we need to, the Eagles, they need to fire Sirianni right now. How stupid is that?
And you do have to give a lot of credit to, was it Fangio?
Vic Fangio, yeah, the Chiefs didn't run up and down the field when he was in Denver.
But you think of a young coach, 2 Super Bowl appearances in 4 years and a win.
And they're talking,
that's a pretty good record.
We'll talk about another coach that's on the hot seat right now, which is stupid by their fan base. Anyway, the Chiefs just – so I don't feel bad because they got beat by the better team. Maybe some things could have gone the other – what scenario are you coming up with that the Chiefs are going to win that game yesterday?
Wide right is way worse than 24-0 at halftime.
Yes, it is. Plus, you'd have more fun when you just, forget about it in the second half. Okay, the voice of the Panther Fieldhouse, Kurt Schaub, announcing the homecoming king and queen. That proved to be the biggest, help me, it's Monday after the Super Bowl. I'm looking for a word.
Outburst?
The biggest question mark going into the night.
Yes, it was.
Okay, was Isaiah Reed and Elle Ann Reed win homecoming king and queen. That was before the 4th-ranked Great Bend boys went out, won their 11th straight game, 78-41. The girls' game, Mike Marzoff and me talked about it on the pregame show. If the Lady Panthers, that's their next step, and they must learn to play against pressure defense, full court pressure defense.
Yeah, I had them for 10 turnovers in the first quarter, maybe about 6 more in the second.
It was 11-0.
In 2 minutes.
And as long as that break was between games, while everybody got gussied up, we maybe should have just sent them to the locker room then, and then we could have just come right out and got in the homecoming ceremony.
Thank God for running clocks. Yeah, where did the Ryan girl come from? We figured Lewis was going to do something. They held her about half of what she did.
Better. Liberal's getting better.
14 points in the first quarter. She didn't score after that, but tremendous first quarter when it mattered.
And she's one of those players that didn't play a lot last year. She played some, but, yeah, Liberal's getting better because they started the year. They had some seniors that were starting. I mean, Mullins, the freshman, she wasn't even playing to start the season, and they were turning the ball over. I don't think they'll beat Hayes next Friday, but I think it's going to be a better game than it was when it was 77-50 in the first meeting. I kind of like that Liberal team.
I do like him, and I turned around to the Liberal boys coaches and I said, how have your girls lost 5 times? And he said, well, UConn, Oklahoma, and then evidently Hayes is pretty legit.
But they turn it over 9 times against the Lady Panthers. So, yeah, and in the boys' game, what can you say? Let's see, Ian Premer has had 11 straight double-doubles, 31 points, 15 rebounds, had 6 assists in the game. Ben Nicholson had his first career double-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Jacob Hall had 11, and you knew the homecoming king was going to reach double figures. Isaiah got 10. Panthers go to Dodge City tomorrow. I know there's a lot of weather out there. According to Great Bend High School Athletic Director Matt Westerhouse, they will make a decision on that game tomorrow. And if they do make it up, they're planning on doing it on Thursday. So it looks like Marzoff and me get a road trip. I mean, that's too far back, out to go to Dodge City and then have to drive back and then go all the way to Garden City the next day. I think we may have to stay at the casino on Thursday and get ready to go on Friday.
A few things super quick. I hear that Hayes was ahead of Dodge City 23-0 on the girls' side before Dodge even got up a shot. So this is one of those, Great Bend should win this game.
Okay,
and then Premer, 6 assists. But, man, did you see number 7 that got taken away with the charge, the behind the back?
He could have. He had a couple others that could have been assists, too, because he came over and he was kind of hoping that he had a triple-double.
And I think if you give a pass and it results in a missed basket because of a foul, and he makes a free throw, that should count as an assist, but they don't do it. The other team cheated. That's a foul.
No.
But it's still led to points.
It's not completed. And the other thing is, when you have a running clock in the fourth quarter, should we allow for free throws?
I was thinking about this over the weekend, too. I hate the rule where you get 2. I like having that pressure on those first 3 fouls that you got to make the first one to get the reward.
Well, I'm just talking about the fourth quarter because that takes time, and the clock should tick, 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 tick. These kids, you're trying to get them into the game.
As someone on deadline, though, I'm like, foul. Free throws are the quickest way.
Tom, I'm going to talk to. There's some interesting scores in the CPL over the weekend. We'll talk to Jim Mazunas about that. How about Ellenwood going into Hoisington? You talk about bringing all the momentum that Hoisington had, going a 5-game winning streak, and then they start thinking, okay, we can get this game, and then we're going to go to 9-6, and then we're. Hats off to Ellenwood. They
scored some points.
Yeah, they did. They knock off. So we'll talk to Jim Mazunas about that coming up. Okay, Wyatt Thompson, the call on Saturday on Learfield. Coleman Hawkins knocks down a 3. K-State takes a 55-43 lead on KU. They win 81-73. David Gasson, 20 points. Doug McDaniel, 15. Max Jones, Coleman Hawkins each scored 12. K-State beats KU in Manhattan for the third straight time. They're now 12-11, 6-6 in the bid. They're back in the hunt for an NCAA tournament bid.
You got to get them in the rankings. Put them in the rankings. They're the hottest team in the country. I was looking because the commentator said when Doug McDaniel came over, that's DUG, there was no chemistry between him and Tang. Over the last 6 games, he's hit 8 of his 22 three-pointers on the season, and he went from 4.5 averaging assists a game to 7.4 over the last 5 games. So he's like Tiger Campbell, a UCLA guy. The basketball is just an appendage.
I'm going to have Jim Mazunas get that football over there that's sitting in the corner, that big inflatable football, and he's going to put it down, and he's going to say, come on, Mikey, kick the ball. Kick the ball. I won't pull it out. They take on Arizona tomorrow, who's tied for first in the Big 12. Houston plays tonight at home against Baylor. Are you confident that Jim's not going to just pull that football out? Are you kicking it?
I've got to have faith.
Okay, so you're kicking the football on K-State. KU had been ranked for 78 consecutive weeks in the AP poll. It now moves to 79. They're ranked 17th this week. Some thought that maybe they would fall out of the top 25. That did not happen. And the Barton men, that was Jeremy Combs. They led by as many as 15 in the first half at Pratt Saturday. Pratt closed the gap, pulled into a 63-63 tie, but the Cougars are able to pull it away, win at 82-74, as Jeremy Combs talked about how his team responded down the stretch. Barton at home Wednesday. They'll be taking on Seward County.
Pink Out Night. Raise some money for Camp Aldrich.
Okay, that's Wednesday.
Yes.
You got your shirt?
Well, and then once again, Tuesday, Wednesday is supposed to be your big dump day, so we'll see if anybody comes up.
They fly to the games. They don't have to worry about bus trips or things like that.
It is supposed to be north, so maybe the liberal area will escape it.
Okay, the halftime show, I'm sorry, I reevaluated it. I kind of looked at it again. Halftime show just stunk. I'm sorry. Why don't they bring some of those other artists that they have, like in the pregame that...
Yeah, well, maybe Lady Gaga didn't want to do it, but yeah, she would be a popular one.
Yeah, because they drop her. Didn't she like hang from the rafters on a cable when she was doing it?
In a meat suit, yeah. So Taylor Swift is up there. Kendrick Lamar's biggest contribution to music was contributing to Bad Blood. So I was telling the girlfriend, he's got to save this by doing Bad Blood and having a surprise guest. But that didn't happen. He just played his music.
I'm just too old to try to get into rap now. Just given up. I'm not going to try, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you enjoyed the commercials as well.
Omaha steak. Omaha steak.
All right, there you go. Sounds of the weekend. Jim Mazunas up next.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Step into the spotlight with Barton Community College's theater program. Whether you dream of performing on stage or creating magic behind the scenes, Barton offers hands-on training, expert guidance, and creative performance opportunities. With top-tier facilities and a supportive community, you'll develop the skills to shine. Turn your passion into a career and start your journey to the stage at Barton. Learn more at theater.bartoncccc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
He's passionate about his high school sports and his trendy sports apparel. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Masunas.
Jim Masunas in today on Sports Day. Brought to you by the Animal Medical Center. Large or small, they take care of them all, Jim. Great Bend Rec Commission, dedicated to improving their communities and the lives of its individuals. The American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, where they feature number 2 clear diesel, bulk fuel, E10, fuel delivery, all your lubricants and fuel supplies. Jim Masunas during the break called, I guess you were calling KU soft. K-State plays a real team tomorrow? Wow.
Yeah,
You're throwing the hatred around here.
Well, no, not hatred. It's reality. That's what the KU fans, they want Bill Self fired.
Can you believe
that's what
that?
I love. No, that's silly. But that's why I love Twitter. It's like, we'll see what the KU fans are saying tonight. And it's just priceless. They want Bill Self fired.
They hate Hunter Dickinson.
Well,
he was the best. Dickinson was the best player on the court Saturday. I don't care. I mean, 21 points, 12. I mean, he double again.
Yeah, but how much defense does he play? I mean, he's like a statue out there.
Well, who else is going to get 21 points and 12 rebounds?
He's effective offensively. Their pick and roll offense is really good. But, that game was, I wasn't over, but when Harris got his 3rd foul, the Jayhawks were in trouble. I mean, when you play without your point guard for that many minutes, it's really tough.
So K-State now, they have Arizona coming in tomorrow night. All of a sudden, this is a huge game for K-State because they've dug themselves such a big hole.
Yeah, 1-6 to 6-6.
Yeah, Jerome Tang talking about, well, I'd leave that for other teams, but who's playing better than they are in the country? I think by the metrics right now, they're the best team in the country over the last during their winning streak.
Well, again, when you go to Iowa State and win by 19, that's pretty impressive. And honestly, I think although that was a good win, Iowa State didn't play very well. Kansas played pretty decent offense, but I think it was K-State's best game by far.
Oh, they were knocking in threes all over. Yeah, they're playing with a swagger.
They were playing with balance. And, the problem is if you only rely on 1 or 2 guys, what happens if, they're off? But they had really good balance and have had pretty good balance in that streak. But, yeah, Arizona is definitely a test. But if they get the same kind of crowd and same kind of energy, they'll have a shot. You shoot like they did all over the court because
why? I mean, that should be like, why not?
No,
why would we expect Arizona to come in and beat us on our home floor?
That's right. No. That's the kind of attitude they have. Then they're definitely going to have a shot. But yeah, just watching Arizona, it's a tough matchup. We'll see.
Where do you want to start with CPL, boys or girls?
Yeah, we'll start with the boys because that
St. John.
The St. John and Central Plains game were just nearly identical. Ball possession, defensive oriented, double teams all over the court. Just tremendous defense and coaching by all 4 coaches and all 4 teams. It was just a question of who could squeeze out a couple of 3-pointers and maybe get a run.
38-32.
Yeah, and then the girls' game was equally. It was a low-scoring game too, 35-28. But Central Plains girls, they got the Simpson twin girls who are freshmen, really have added a spark, although Avon had a really off shooting. I think she was 1 for 10. But Marilyn Sokin is for real and really good balance. The Oiler girls are really undersized. So when they face a big girl, although they've beaten St. John and 6'2" Lydia Reed twice. So they've been able to, again, their defense reaction-wise, because Coach Stiles used to want to play a lot of full court and trap, but he's just gone basically man-to-man and a lot of traps and a lot of pressure on the ball, really working really well. So the Ellenwood and Central Plains girls game should be fascinating because, again,
they play tomorrow night.
Yeah, Coach Maxwell at Ellenwood, again, really good, well-balanced team, and they shoot the three effectively. And really that's the nature of that game is which team will maybe shoot the three-pointer a little bit better. But it should be a really good girls game. And then, of course, on the boys' side, Central Plains gets knocked off by St. John. And, again.
That surprised me a lot.
Well, again, they're playing without two of their top players.
Okay.
Quade Smith is out, and then the
Okay.
Elpers kid is out with a bad foot or ankle something or other. But my three-point guy, Easton Elpers, comes in, knocks down a three-pointer.
From regular distance.
It was only
Okay,
20
feet. It was only 20 feet. And then they've got this play, and I'm not revealing any secrets. Watch the tape. They set a back screen for Emmett Delp, and twice the three-point shooter's on the three-point line and throwing up a lob pass, setting the back screen twice, layups both times. So very good execution by St. John Tigers. And, again, Central Plains just had a night where they were very inaccurate from three-point. I think it was 4 of 23 or something. And when Michael Ryan goes back, he said, man, we're shooting too many three-pointers. To me, three-point shooting is all about percentage. Once your percentage goes below a certain percentage, okay, attack the basket, get to the free throw line, then go back and shoot a three-pointer after you've made a couple free throws. But
that's my favorite line in high school, in basketball anywhere. They can shoot the three-pointer. The key is, can they make the three-pointer?
There's a lot of shooters. How many makers?
How many? I want three-point makers.
Yeah.
I don't want three-point shooters.
But again, in Coach Cree from Great Bend, they've adjusted. They're not shooting.
No.
The one game that came out first quarter shooting three-pointers, missing them all. Their game is to pound it inside, then kick back occasionally for a three-pointer, and you're good to go.
They're now hitting 53% from the floor. They're like 63% on their two-point shots this year.
Yeah, their two-point percentage is between 60 and 70% almost every game.
And then the two stats that are not charted are two of Great Bend's biggest weapons. How many points per game do they get on baseline inbounds plays? And points off missed free throws.
Yeah, that's you could make a and Iowa State women are like this. There's coaches that pull all their people off the free throw line when they're shooting, which is absolutely silly. I think the Iowa State women's coach is crazy for doing that.
Kyle Creed talked about it after. He said we practice that. There's different ways you can
you can gain an extra 2 points. How valuable is an offensive rebound putback? It's very valuable. I had Great Bend for 18 second chance points.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens at Dodge City. Ellenwood, tip of the hat to the Eagles to go in. Hoiston had been red hot. They'd won 5 games in a row, and they're looking at moving up in the sub-state standings. They're wanting to. That was a tough loss for Hoisington, 54-48. Congratulations to the Ellenwood Eagles.
Yeah, Coach Lane over there, he's got Simpson, who's a 25-point a game, but he fouled out, and Coleman Campbell fouled out too, so he had 2 guys foul out, but his young guys came through. Yeah, that's probably, no doubt, their best win of the year. So it gives them a little momentum going into Central Plains Tuesday.
And Victoria must be better than I'm giving them credit for. I mean, they went to Maxville and won 77-69.
I think they got a player back from a football injury, like a 6'4" kid, and then some of their other guys are playing a lot better. So, yeah, that's a quality win against Maxville.
Okay. Anything else stand out for you from high school basketball over the weekend?
No, I think that was pretty much. I was looking at the exact same thing. The Central Prairie League had just some really competitive games. It's a really good boys and girls league this year. Not maybe a great state champion type team, but 4 or 5 quality teams on both sides of the ledger.
Okay.
And I think Hayes plays McPherson tomorrow, so that'll be an interesting boys game to watch because it just seems like Hayes is lurking around. Guess what? The 8 or 9 slot. And
bring it on. I
think that's the last game until Great Bend plays that Hayes will lose. I mean, they'll win the rest of the WAC games besides Great Bend. So
okay, so Great Bend has Dodge tomorrow night, and then Garden City on Friday. Then they've got a Tuesday off, and then they'll play at home against Dodge, and they close the season against Heston and Hayes.
Yeah, Heston and Hayes, that'll be a nice way to get tuned up for postseason because last time I looked, they had a 2-game edge. So they could lose one and be fine, and they could lose. Well, actually, they've got a home site virtually clinched. I mean,
Sure.
They're not going to lose 5 games over the last stretch here. So you just have to finish top 4, and you're good to go. But you want to finish as high as you can because it gives you a better draw once you get to state. And they played a good state tournament game last year. Just, again, you're facing a tougher team. So,
what do you think about Liberal girls? I know they beat Hayes, but I think it's going to be more competitive. I kind of like the way they've got a good coach down there, and you start the season, and sometimes that's the way it goes. You've got some seniors who have been with the program, but you've got some very talented young players. Well, you ease them out, right? Slowly. You don't come up there and just start the freshmen right away, and I think that's what they've done down there. They were throwing the ball all over the gym to start the season, but man,
it'd be interesting.
Ryan is a good point guard.
When they play Hayes again, because when you look at their team, there's no reason why they can't compete with Hayes. It'll be a lot of pressure.
Shamari Reed, who's just such a great athlete.
Yeah.
But I could see a lot of points being scored in that game, so that will be interesting. All right, what else is on your mind today, Jimbo?
Well, we're just sort of winding down the season, getting almost ready here for wrestling regionals, and bowling team, boys and girls, have done really well. The boys did tremendously well over in Wichita, and had all their guys had like season best averages, and they averaged 207 in Baker games, and that's where each of 5 players bowls 2 frames apiece, and then your best player bowls the 10th frame, and so he can get a couple extra shots. They shot a 288 in Baker, which is unheard of. That means that they hit 10 consecutive strikes heading to the 3 shots in the 10th frame, and then their best player got 8 pins on his second to last shot. School record 288. So yeah, congratulations on the Great Bend boys bowling to set a school record.
We've had a lot of sports added, and I'm not saying new sports, but say at some of the smaller schools, they're playing baseball. Well, bad thing is when you add a sport like that at a small school, it just kills another sport. Or then bowling is one of the greatest addition because you're not pulling from any other sports for most of the time. And it's given other kids a chance to play on an organized sport. I just think it's great.
Yeah, the best part about that was when Jade Winter was sick Monday, I go over to the bowling alley Monday just to get some information, and I said, wait a minute, what's the girls basketball team bowling out here? So Coach Winter missed practice, and they all went bowling Monday. So I guess it was a planned thing.
Last Monday.
Yeah, last Monday. Yeah,
Oh.
It was just funny to see.
Well, yeah, because you didn't have a game Tuesday or anything.
Yeah,
like
you don't
that,
see a lot of 6'1", 6'2" bowlers out there. It's like, wait a minute, who are those people?
Which finger did Cass? I think it was her left hand. I was going to say,
Yeah,
was she bowling?
Yeah, she was out there. Yeah, all the girls were out there. So yeah, it was fun to see. But yeah, I don't think the bowling coach saw too many prospects there.
Okay. Nor would he if he saw us bowl. Because I could see you being a good bowler.
Yeah, well, we used to, my brother and I, we did bowl in the league with our dad. Oh, it was very nice. It was one of the, we played golf with our dad and then we bowled.
That's what it's all
that
about.
That was nice.
Jim, thanks, man.
Yep, you're welcome.
Jim Mizunas with us, Great Bend Tribune. Sports Day today brought to you by Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. And the Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Sports Day rolling on right after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no-obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
For the past 13 years, Sports Day has been the show devoted to local sports and local athletes. And it's all brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. Time to talk Barton wrestling with Nathan Brockelman, who's in on the program today. Where do you want to start? I guess last time you were in here, we've had a couple duels that you had last Tuesday. You went out northwest to Goodland and talk about that. Dropped a couple duels. 22nd ranked Cloud and number 5 Fort Hays State Tech Northwest.
I thought we wrestled pretty well against Cloud. It was kind of a tight duel. We had some sickness and some injuries that we had to sit a few people, but overall we wrestled well. Picked up some pretty good wins for some of our guys, and it was definitely a lot tighter duel this year than it was last year. And then honestly, I don't think we wrestled very well against Fort Hays Tech. I know they're number 5 and they're pretty solid and pretty good, and some of it was our matchups, but I just kind of felt like we laid down a little bit, which was a little disappointing. But it's almost like last year when we dueled Cloud and Colby at the end of the year. We came off a big win from Colby, and then we just kind of got our butt kicked by Cloud, and it's kind of the same situation. So I don't know if they were just kind of just not ready for that last duel or what, but hopefully we get it fixed here when we come into our district qualifier here this week. So
who wrestled well for you?
Colin Little filled in. Mater was battling a little bit of sickness. He wasn't sure if we took him still, weighed him in, but he wasn't sure if he's going to be able to go. But he ended up wrestling the second duel. But Colin picked up a big win over Cloud's 149-pounder Noah Bailey. And last year that kid tech-falled Colin in high school, and this year Colin tech-falled him. So that shows some big improvement for Colin and for his future. We're looking forward to him coming back next year to fill in our lineup. So Logan Buchanan filled in for Nate at our heavyweight, and he picked up a big pin against Cloud as well. So when you got your younger classmen filling in and beating the same younger classmen of another school that'll probably be there again next year, it's always nice to kind of look for the future there. So,
okay, so now you get ready for this weekend. The the South Central District Championships, and those will be at Pratt. So what's this week like? I mean, you filling in positions or finding out who's going to wrestle where?
Well, we kind of already have our lineup set, minus an injury setback or something like that. We will gain Landon Coling back at 133. He'd been kind of battling a shoulder injury, so we've kind of been holding him out, making sure he's good to go for the South Central District Tournament. And so we should be full as long as everyone's healthy and makes weight. And depending on all the other teams, if everyone brings a full squad, we'll probably be top 7 qualify for nationals plus 7 wild cards. So hopefully everyone will be full and try to get 77. Have some of our guys be part of the 77 that go from our district. So.
Okay, so who's got the best shot? I mean, who are you really looking at on your team right now that you may be disappointed if they didn't get a go?
On paper, probably our 149, Jarrett Mater, and probably our heavyweight, Nathan Aguzziato. They probably definitely have the best shot. They've kind of had the most success, at least inside our district conference duels and things. And we've seen Inio and Carl Alberts and Northern Oklahoma Tonkawa a couple times this year. So they definitely probably should be the ones that make it to the dance. Our 25, Jamal Garrett, and hometown Skylar McMullen, they both kind of have a good shot too. Everyone else kind of up in the air, kind of just depends on their draw. I kind of feel like Keevan Schroeder's got a pretty good chance because he hasn't actually wrestled really any of the 197-pounders just because it took him so long to get down to weight.
Yeah.
But as long as he cuts it right this week, as long as he didn't balloon up too much from last week's duel, because that was kind of a long break in there from having to make weight. So hopefully he didn't balloon too much up this week, and he comes in at a good weight, and we can kind of just slowly get it back down for him instead of having to cut, 10 pounds the night before or something like that, like he's tried to do in the past. So hopefully he gets that taken care of, and we'll kind of see where we're at. 2 to 6 would be awesome, but we should I mean, you can't really say for sure in the sport of wrestling, but should have 2 of them there for sure.
Okay, South Central District. How tough is this district traditionally in junior college wrestling, Nathan?
It's probably by far one of the toughest districts and regions in the nation. I can't think about it. I mean, off the top of my head, I want to say 7 or 8 of the teams are in the top 25. So obviously they're trying to get all their guys in to go try to compete for a team title. And you got Northwest Tech's 5, and I think Pratt's 9, and Labette, Cali, NEO, I think are all like 13, 14, 15. So, half the teams are in the top 15. It's going to be a pretty tough tournament.
So you go from that, and then you wait 3 weeks before the Nationals.
Yeah, so there's a 3-week break there. That's kind of chosen by our district. You can go up to 2 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks before. We kind of vote on that as coaches, and I like it because then we can go watch the state tournament, the high school state tournaments. Yeah. Some of the Oklahoma coaches, not so much. They don't really care. I think their state tournament's the weekend before ours anyways, but luckily we have more Kansas coaches than Oklahoma coaches in our district, so we get to outvote them, and especially in the future. I know we're voting on that this year, whether we change it to 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and my oldest will be in high school here soon, so I'd like to be able to go watch him at state, and it kind of helps with some injuries too. If someone makes it to the podium and is going to qualify and they happen to get a concussion in their last match, that gives them some time to get fully recovered before nationals still too. So.
Okay, Nathan Brockman, and we're talking Barton Wrestling as they will be in Pratt this weekend at the South Central District Championships. Jay Sharch set a state record for Tech Falls, and of course Jace, and for a guy that didn't wrestle, anytime you set a state record, but talk about this one and how big a deal is that and how cool is it?
It's pretty cool for Jace. Set his career Tech Fall record for the state of Kansas. I know he hits a lot of fireman's carries, which kind of gets him in that situation. And now that a fireman's carry from your feet is worth 7 points instead of 5 points, it doesn't take near as much to Tech Fall somebody. And I know Jace likes scoring points and doing it that way. But it's pretty awesome to see him continue on and break that record. And I know that was one of his goals when working with him in the spring with freestyle and Greco stuff. That was one of his goals, was he wanted to break that state record, and now he's got it. So now he can kind of put that at the back of his mind and just go hopefully give himself a state title.
So when you get into regional and scoring points, I mean, pins are still better as far as for team points.
Yeah, pins are always better.
Okay. So does that mean, does he have to change his style at all?
No, he can still get Tech Falls. I mean, especially, in a team tournament, the difference between a Tech Fall and a fall is a half a point, so it's really not that big of a difference. Okay. But it could be if you were that good where you're Tech Falling everybody when you could be pinning everyone. That could add up to 3-4 points, especially like in a state tournament when you get 4 matches. But as far as team points, it's a little bit bigger in a duel because it's a full point. But no, I don't think he needs to change his style. I think he just needs to put his head down and go after what he wants.
Appreciate it. Nathan, thanks for coming in. Good luck this week, and we'll talk to you hopefully about some guys that are qualified for nationals when you come in next Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Nathan Brockelman with us here on Sports Day. Our show brought to you in part by Equity Bank, where they add value for their customers and communities. Equity Bank. Want to find out where an Equity Bank is? Go to the locations tab at equitybank.com and by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. We'll talk Barton Cougar basketball. Women's coach Alan Clark. That's coming up next.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
When you run a fleet business, delay is a dirty word. What fuels me to stay on schedule? My clients, their clients, and everyone's bottom line. What fuels my fleet? Cenex Roadmaster XL, a premium diesel fuel formulated with its best additive package yet to clean the entire fuel system for more power, less maintenance, and better fuel economy. Cenex Roadmaster XL, fueled by innovation, powered to perform.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. It's all brought to you exclusively by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Also brought to you in part by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison in Great Bend. And Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish. And continued support, they have you covered. Barton women's basketball coach Alan Clark is in with us after a scintillating Super Bowl. So that
you did. Yeah. How many times have you gone to bed before the Super Bowl was over lately? I mean, they've had some good ones, but this one wasn't one of them.
No, it was. So as a coach, I guess it's got to be pretty frustrating. You go out there and, okay, they wanted me to make adjustments, but there's really not much I can do. They're rushing 4 guys and they're killing us, and there's really not much else I can do.
Yeah, sometimes you're just overmatched.
Well, it was the case there.
Yeah. What's crazy though is we all know how important that front line is on both offense and defense, and those are the lowest paid guys. I mean, why?
Well, it may not be the case next year for Kansas City. I think they'll go out and go tackle shopping, don't you think? I don't know.
Yeah.
But how do you because you keep going, but then, of course, you have a salary cap, and then these other guys want a little bit more money, and how do you maneuver? You're going to have some weeks you try to suck along somewhere, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
College coaches are going to have to start dealing with that before long, it looks like.
Are we ever going to have a salary cap in college basketball?
Who knows? I'm glad I don't have to worry about it.
Okay, you don't have to worry about that.
I don't. No.
Okay, because Jeremy Combs said he's seen that starting to trickle down. Even that some guy gets
Yeah, I'm sure on the men's side that there's some of that, but it's not. It's going to be a long way off on the women's side.
Okay, you got to win Saturday.
We did
down at Pratt. Talk about the victory, 73-50 over Pratt Beavers.
Yeah, we weren't great the first half, but they lost some kids and they didn't have much size, and the game plan was kind of pound that ball into Vivian, and we got into her a few times the first half. She didn't finish as well. She gets double teamed a lot, and it's brutal that people are all over her, and she doesn't get fouls called against her very often. And in the men's, they have some kind of a rule on verticality. The defender can't get in the offensive player's vertical space.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen them call that. They do their hands up and down like they took away their verticality. We don't have that in women's, and they do that to Vivian all the time. I mean, they're over the top of her.
Well, it seems like a good rule. I mean, we keep it.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, and she got going the second half. I think she finished with 23 in the second half alone. Got 29 for the game, and so she ended up with a good game
and with a good bounce back.
Yeah,
I mean, after last Wednesday against Butler, that was a tough night at the.
Oh, we just one we want to forget about. It's just like Kansas City wants to forget about Super Bowl.
Yeah, and because the play-by-play guys got to talk to the coach about it coming up. I thought you were very direct. I mean, on talking about that game. There's really not much you can say. Well, they came out.
Yeah, and it was part of it's my fault because we've been playing well. So our practices, our practices haven't been as intense because we've been playing well. So I was able to back off a little bit. But in that game, it was obviously we weren't ready to play against Butler, and that's my fault for not maintaining that level of intensity.
How do you know when your team's ready to play or not? I mean, do you ever notice your team before? So, well, I don't know about this.
Well, especially on the women's side, a lot of it is is their energy level. You can see their energy level in the warm up, and for females, it's they talk about a lot of times it's look good, feel good, play good. and so yeah, they need to feel good, and so I'm probably not the best at making them feel good at times.
Well, that one's in the rear view mirror. So you look at the week ahead now. You get Seward in here on Wednesday, and how about Seward beating Dodge City 55-52? Dodge got to be thinking, okay, well, Hutch got him. We're in good shape right now. But Seward's been kind of lurking right there, just outside the top 4 now. I think they are 4th right now in the league. But
and they're really good at home. They beat Butler earlier in the year at home, and Dodge City is they I wouldn't say live and die by the 3, but they're the leading 3-point shooting team in the conference, and they went 2 for 21 from 3. And so, when that happens, sometimes, you can't overcome it.
Yeah, so you get Seward on Wednesday, and then that same Dodge City team's in here on Saturday. This is a tough week for your team.
Right. Well, the good thing is we get to watch one film for both games. We can watch the Seward Dodge for both games this week at least.
Makes the prep a little bit better. So
makes it easier.
Okay, here you go. Right now you're 8-10. Garden City, they are 8-10 as well in league standings. Then you got Cloud 10-8, Cali 10-8. So what are you kind of looking at as those standings as we head down the stretch?
With Seward's win over Dodge, we were kind of hoping maybe if we get some wins here, we could maybe get to 5th. With Dodge's loss to Seward, that Seward's probably not going to fall any further than 5th, I wouldn't think, with who they've got left to play. Hopefully, maybe we can try to get that 6th spot, which would mean that we've got to win at least 4 or 5 of our last 6 games, and then maybe get a little bit of help. Cloud and Cali have a pretty tough schedule. They've got Hutch and Coffeyville yet to play, and so there's a possibility that we could get as high as 6th, which would be good, and get a home court in that first round.
How big would this be? It will sneak that one away from Seward on Wednesday.
It's a big game. It really is. Just because of where they sit in the standings, and they beat us at their place, and just setting us up for later on for postseason play. It'd be a big confidence builder for us. But we're gonna have to play well.
Okay, and then you got Dodge City coming in. So, what keeps you up at night worrying about your team as we head down the stretch?
I don't know. Probably mainly consistency. We're starting to do some of the things that we preach. We're starting to do some of those things right, but it's just not consistent. It's not, every time. We talk a lot, in practice and in film sessions that there's things you have to do that you have to do every play. Sprinting back in transition defense. Jumping to the ball on half court defense. There's cutting hard on offense. There's just things that you have to do every time, and there's times when we do them now. There's times when we don't, and it shows up in the game. You can beat some of the teams without that, but you can't beat the Hutches. You can't beat Butler, and those teams you can't beat them without doing things correctly, doing things right, because they're going to do them right, and so we have to too. And just when you have so many freshmen, it takes a while for them to buy into it, and it's better than it was, obviously, because we're starting to win a few games that we lost earlier. But it's got to be more consistent now.
And it's kind of been that growing process all year. I mean, it's been a young team. You brought, you got 3 sophomores or what?
Yeah. Yeah, we had 3, and then of course we lost Macy, and so we're playing with 2, and Brittany and Vivian obviously are playing very well, Brittany's starting to shoot the ball like she can, and she actually is taking the ball to the basket better. But the freshmen are just inconsistent. Charlotte and Kiana played really well against Pratt the other night. When we had some other kids that weren't playing well, they stepped up and had good games. And without them, maybe we that's a tougher game. But we got to get everybody on the same page, everybody consistent.
Okay, Alan, good luck.
I appreciate
big games this week. Alan Clark with us here on Sports Day. We'll be back for our final segment of the Monday show. Stay with us.
Take your passion for creating magic behind the curtain to new levels with Barton Community College's Technical Theater program. This new program is designed for students to learn how to create breathtaking light shows, run a state-of-the-art soundboard, and build captivating sets. Unleash your creativity and earn an associate's degree to build the skills you need for a career in theater. now enrolling for the fall semester. Learn more at techtheater.bartonccc.edu.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today we want to give a shout out to all the supporting cast at these basketball games. We have some great young men and young women on the court, but we also have some great young men and women playing their instruments, cheering, dancing, all those things. Let's clap for them. When they perform and get done, let's show them a round of applause, show them some love as well, because they deserve it. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Now, in its 13th year, this program is brought to you exclusively by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. This is Sports Day on KVGB.
Yeah, and don't forget about Equity Bank here when you need them. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more information. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. Okay, we've got weather that's going to be moving in. So, of course, that always brings up the question, what are we doing on Tuesday night for high school basketball? Great Bend has announced that they will make a decision pertaining tomorrow night's game at Dodge City tomorrow. So we won't get a decision on that. But if they would decide to postpone it, they're looking at Thursday for a makeup day game. So Great Bend would play at Dodge City Thursday, then at Garden City on Friday. Now, Landon Winkler with a breaking news update here on Larned's game with Scott City tomorrow. What you got, Landon?
From the mouth of the voice of the Larned Indians, Gary Wagner, we've got the Larned games moved up to 4:30 p.m. for the girls' game and 6 p.m. for the boys' game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that might be a pretty good way to do it. I think you look at all the weather models out there that, you know, that the heavy snow is going to come in later tomorrow night, so maybe that's the case Dodge City, but we'll keep you updated on what's going on there. Great Bend at Dodge City tomorrow. Hoisington, they will play at Haven tomorrow night, so we'll see how that one goes. But, again, we'll keep you updated on GreatBendPost.com. Barton Baseball got their season underway over the weekend. Their annual trip to Oklahoma to take on Rose State College. Now, Friday, the game got canceled, but they came back and played 2 games on Saturday. Saturday. So, and they go out and the Cougars get a no-hitter in their first game of the year. They win it by the score of 2-0. Rose State did come back and win 5-3. They'll try to play some baseball this weekend when the Cougars host Western Nebraska Community College for a 4-game series on Saturday and Sunday, 1 and 3:30 start times for those contests. We'll be back tomorrow with the Tuesday show right here on KVGB.